It looked like the governor was proposing flat funding for community colleges, but when you looked a little deeper at it, it was clearly a reduction in where we are in current year.
Community colleges across New York State are taking a close look at Governor Andrew Cuomo's budget proposal, and they have some major concerns.
It could all lead to tuition increases. And News 4's Chris Hervadas asked the president of Genesee County Community College today for more information on this. Chris?
Well, Don, he says the funding formula proposed for next year is basically the same as it is this year. That's why you heard him say it looked like the funding was flat. But here's the caveat. That formula is based on how many students are taking classes. And right now, it looks like enrollment next year will be down.
It's certainly down slightly, as it is across the state.
How much money Genesee Community College gets each year from the state depends on what's called full-time equivalent students. GCC has about 5,000 of them now. But when that number drops next year, as is expected, the amount of state aid will drop with it if the governor's budget proposal goes through.
So those state dollars are very important for us.
And there's been fewer of them each year since 2015. GCC officials say if the proposed budget is enacted, the downward trend will continue. That money has to be made up for somewhere.
To provide the services that students need to be successful, you would have to look at local sponsorship increases and tuition and fee increases to maintain that level of support students need to be successful.
I chose GCC, honestly, because of the weather.
That's not something you hear from most GCC students, but for Alex Yalakin, Batavia's weather is a lot like the weather back home in Ukraine. He's been a student for 2 years now and is calling on the state legislature to modify the governor's proposal.
Especially government's supposed to fund and invest as much money as they can to the university, schools, anything like that. The most important resource in every country is the people.
The majority of the students that attend our colleges stay in our areas. They stay within 50 miles of our campus. So it's an incentive to keep those folks in New York State.
And so Dr. Sunser is asking state officials to stabilize the funding instead of using that formula. No response from the governor's office on this story, by the way, as of yet. The budget not due to be finalized for another 2 months, so there is still time for negotiating. Chris Horvat, it's News 4 at 6.